Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Greetings to the viewers.
So the Reverend has been removed from the January 8th proceedings by the ANC. The ANC Women's League is calling for his head. They're calling for him to be stripped of his position within the Methodist Church. How does someone within the clergy have these kind of views in private that are so contradictory to everything that the message, not only that religion is and should be sending, but that is so disparate to our Constitution?
Thank you very much for inviting us as the Commission for Gender Equality. I have to say that as the Commission for Gender Equality, we've already started our investigation into this matter. However, because we have also seen that the clergy itself and its institutions are starting their own investigations as well, we are going to monitor what they will be doing. And of course, we will release our own reports on this particular unfortunate incident. I have to say that as the CGE, our mandate is very narrow, but it is very clear. In terms of Section 11(1)(a) of the Act, we're supposed to monitor the policies and the practices of public institutions and authorities. And in terms of 11(1)(e), we are supposed to conduct investigations on own volition, which is something that we have already started. We just released a statement, I think the day before yesterday, on this matter. And of course, our guide is the Constitution. That is the main guide. And of course, the CGE Act guides us. The PEPUDA Act, Promotion of Equality Act, guides us, and other international and national legislation. We use them as a guide in terms of how we deal with these issues. I have to say it is very disappointing to us as the Commission for Gender Equality that a man off the cloth, a man in his position in our society, holds such views. You would expect that a person who's holding so much respect and high regard in our society is also a man that has been, to a certain extent, vetted in terms of his philosophy, in terms of how he respects our own legislation, and how he respects human beings in general. It's very disappointing to hear what he had to say about the president, even talking about her anatomy. That was very, very disappointing. It's a very low point in our countries.
I don't want to interrupt you there, but the Reverend has since apologized. However, and I want to say here, furthermore, and I'm reading from his apology, I also apologize unreservedly to all the women ministers in the MCSA whom I have offended. And I'm trying to think now, how does one take an apology after something like this seriously?
I guess for the church, they will have to look at the apology. It can certainly be looked at as a mitigating factor. However, the infraction is very serious. It's very, very serious. I mean, we come from a history of inequality where black people were nothing, where women were nothing, regardless of their contribution in our society. We cannot go back to that stage where the women's role was downplayed, undermined.
Absolutely. And essentially, for those who might not have heard the clip itself, what the Reverend was saying in this private conversation that had been leaked was that a woman is not in a position to ordain, a female minister is not in a position to ordain a male minister because she is incapable of doing so due to her stature being lower than that of a male minister, correct?
Yes, he did say, as an African theologian, those are the views that he holds, and he said, doesn't matter whether you can say it's patriarchy or gender insensitivity, that nonsense. But in terms of our Constitution, those things are not nonsense. They are very serious because we know where we come from and we know where we want to be and where we want to go. We want to be a country where everybody's rights, everybody's dignity is respected and taken very seriously. That you are not judged because of your sex or gender. You are not judged in terms of your bosom, how small or big it is, but you are taken seriously as a thinking, contributing individual in our society.
Right, and just to wrap up, what do we see in terms of processes from here on now? And we know you're busy with your investigation concurrent to other investigations. How long can we expect the process to last, and what could we possibly see happening to the Reverend?
We will be monitoring initially. I mean, we started our informal investigation. We've got some data. But we will just pause a bit to monitor what the other institutions are doing. I think our reports will probably come out towards the end of February, early March, because we want to come up with, clear and definitive recommendations out of this report, basically to ensure that there are no gaps that are left from the initiatives of the other institutions. We expect the boards as well to look into this matter, because he's not just a church man or a man of God. He is also taken very seriously in business, and we expect those business institutions to look into this matter.
Well, thank you very much. At least the fact that it's gone viral shows the level of awareness that people have about these kind of issues. Thank you very much for your time.